and in color. So, started over part two. Greetings and blessings to all of you. I am your humble host, Mr. David Null, also known as Hawkeye Two Feathers. And I greet you with the love and the honor of the infinite creator. And I continue to pray that each and every day, each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the blessings and the healing from the universe. With that said, hi, how y'all doing? I hope you all are well in whatever neighborhood or section of the world that you may be in. And for those who might be listening in the cosmic realm, you're welcome as well. And so, excuse me, Elderberry. What? Okay, am I set up good? Because I can see you in the chat now, so that tells me I got my orientation right. So goodies on that. So I got me a really nice 20 lined up here and a pipe that was given to me by a friend of mine. And it's got this screw hole in the bottom. Cool beans, 5x5. We like that. It's got this hole back here, and I have yet to figure out what it is. But it has not been smoked but once or twice, mostly tobacco. And so I have my own tobacco in it, we'll say. And so um, it's early, but happy 20. So, so have faith, Chloe, have faith and believe, 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 right? We have learned that from Dante, from Azazel, and there are a lot of folks out there that are prompting faith, you know. But as I was listening to some friends of mine here recently talking about faith, but everything they talked about faith had to do with the Catholic Church. And I was like, well, you got to have faith in the Catholic Church. No, you don't. No, 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 no. The Catholic Church is in the way. Having been raised a Catholic and having read the gospel on Sundays on the alt, up there on the altar. I was an altar boy and all that good stuff. Wanted to become a priest until they, two priests tried to rape me. Okay, and one got just really too damn close. It was lying and cheating and stealing and um, from a priest who knew better, but he liked young boys, and I was on the list. Hey, Katniss, how you doing? God blessings to you all. Honestly, I keep praying every day. Y'all keep doing what you're doing, and just keep doing the best you can every day, and keep on smiling. So, having had the incidents with the priest and their predilection to young boys, me. So when I got out of there and started looking at religion rather than the Catholic Church, and what is religion all about, I come to find out that after all these years of study on my own through books and things, but not um, uh, well, I have studied religions, um, but sort of as an observer. Not somebody that was like, oh, I got to read this so I know every word and so I can preach the word of the gospel no, I never got into it like that. I read it, and Spirit, as I look back on it, Spirit took me to where I needed to learn what I needed to learn with the religions, so that I could understand them in a simple way for my simple brain to, you know, be able to coalesce all those vowels and verbs and words I didn't know. And so, no, I can't read Sanskrit. No, I can't read Japanese or Chinese. No, I can barely look at them, read American. you know, I would like to learn, of all things, Russian, just because. So, but anyway, so what's going on with this thing? So, having faith. So there are folks who have faith in the church, and through the faith in the church, they have faith in God. They have faith in Mother Mary and Jesus and all the apostles. I'm talking about Catholic Church now. So, but the Catholic Church has all these things that you got to do. You got to be, ordained into you can't just, well, you can just go to church and nobody knows what you're doing and go up and get a piece of bread, at the altar and say, well, this is good. This is cool. What does all this mean? Well, in order to actually do it right, you got to get confirmed by the church. And my aunt went through this so she could become Catholic. And at her age, I don't think she goes to a Catholic church. I think my sister takes her. God bless her too. And but I don't think it's a Catholic church. So, but the thing is that my sister grew up Catholic, and we all just kind of, the Catholic Church just went wild on us, and so none of us wanted to participate anymore. And we also looked at, when my sister found out what the priests were doing, and then she was like, "Well, that's not good, And you mean Father's what? Yeah, him. What? Yeah, he was, feeling my butt during a funeral, and so the Colombian is carrying out. Oh, so, and it's time, ain't it? Or almost. So after all these years of listening and learning and reading and studying, and then along come the internet, so a lot of the stuff I was learning on foot, talking to talking to people of different faiths and having conversations with pastors from different faiths and religions, and having conversations with them. And them poor folks over in Meg's, every time I get around them, we have a conversation, and I'm with them on the God thing, but they are with me all the way up to the point where they say, "But you don't go to church, Mr. Dave." And I go, "No, because I think God has created church. Our church is everywhere. Why do I need to go into a building to be in church? If I've accepted Jesus and the Christ into my life, which I have, and I accept, the energy from the Creator, from God, the Creator, and the energy from the universe, then I don't need no stinking church. But I'm sorry, stinking church. But you know, um, if you've been to a Catholic church, it might stink of incense, depending on what's going on. But so that would stink. Because I was the guy when I was in the Catholic Church who used to load that incense thing. Boy, howdy. I'd swing that thing and there'd be so much damn smoke, you couldn't see the next pew in front of you. I loved that part. But so anyway, what I found out after all these years is I have faith in the Creator. I do. okay, God, but I don't like the word God anymore. But the creator of all things, I'm with that, man. And that means I'm with all the native folk because they believe in the creator. But the a lot of the native folks that I've been around in powwows and things as I've traveled in my lifetime, that they understand that there's the God of the Bible, and then there's the Creator. They pray to both of them. What? No, there's only one God. Well, if you read in Revelations where they're talking about that there's God up in heaven and he's sitting with a bunch of other elders. Wait, whoa, 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 whoa. I thought God was the only one. Yeah, but God's sitting up in heaven with some elders. It's in Revelations. And I've always wondered what the hell before the days of daily bathing, the aromatic resins were needed and necessary. um, and I hate to say this, men stank pretty good, but women, if they didn't take care of their female parts, there were that was an issue a lot. So women didn't know how to perform certain things back in the day. They had to modify and do the best they could. But anyway, but it all had to do with um, it was difficult to get water, heat it, bathe it. In bathtubs, there'd be 5, 6, 10 people take a bath in the same water just because it was so difficult to get water. So, in the pioneer days, it was the same way. When you was on the wagon train, where are you going to go take a bath? You dipped a little water out of the bucket, you threw it on yourself, and you did a little spit bath. That was the best you could do. And the best you could do was like if you're walking behind the wagons and it's all dusty and you're on the Pioneer Trail and you're walking and you're going to California, or wherever, and you're all dusty for the day, you take off your clothes and you shake them and you hang them up, and hopefully you got another set of clothes that had been shaken and hung up overnight to air out. So you switch clothes every other day, and so you wear this set today, shake them out at night and let them rest, and get that other set and put them on, you know. And so you only had two sets of clothes. Some folks just wore the same ones over and over and over. For a week, they would wear them and then trade, on Saturday night when everybody had a bath. So, but things have changed over the years. But thinking about the pioneers as I have done over the years, how did they manage it? How did they do it? How did they say, I want a bath so bad, but there ain't no water nowhere. And what water there is for you and the horses. The horses got to drink too, right? So anyway, in this, there were those folks who crossed the United States in covered wagons on foot, carrying shit they didn't need and ended up just throwing it out. But because they believed in something, they had faith that they could do it. They had faith in the wagon train. They had faith in the wagon master that he could get them there, you know. They had faith that God would provide for them along the way. They had faith that they brought enough stuff with them to make it out west. And they had to believe. They had to believe that every day they was making another step towards their goal, towards the west, towards whatever faith they had in their heart of where they were going. And they had to believe it. And every day they got up, they had to walk another 20 miles. They had to believe that mess. Believe, believe, believe. You got to do it 3 times. You know that that the number three. You know, there is some kind of I I hate to use the word magic, but there's something in using doing the number three. There's something about it, and it's a prime number, and it's the lowest prime number other than one, but you know, number three, and it involves the Trinity and three, and so three special. And so here's a little. Oh, that's a good 20 right there. You have to believe. So for those of you who have hung around some, I've had issues with my heart for many years now. And on the 26th of September, 2 days after my birthday, they put a stent in my heart. And since that time, it has taken me a while to shake off the hospital. I'm still hung over some from the hospital. But the last 4 days has been an improvement in me that is from the universe a miracle. Okay. Seriously. And I'll tell you what I did, because I have faith and I have to believe. So I was outside standing in the yard, which has been my goal. Go outside, walk in the yard, because I've got so weak and so uh, pain in my back so bad that I have not been able to walk around the yard, and that's just like not me. I'll walk to the fence over there in just a minute, and that was like a daily thing, and walk along the fence and up the to get the mail, and I haven't done that. I've been riding the scooter instead, but I do get off and walk around. So, but anyway, my goal is to obvious is to walk around more. So I'm standing out in the yard, and I was like, I've I haven't asked um I haven't asked for help in this, in my pain, or early on I was praying that the surgery would go well. It sort of did. Had to wait a week, and they had to remove that blood clot that formed in me. So, but other than that, so not one operation, but two in 10 days. Uh, and the recovery of that, which there is still a bunch of pain along my waist and in the muscles, in the spine. So I've never asked the creator. I've never begged. All I've ever asked for was, give me the strength to do this, and I will overcome this. Okay. Just give me the strength. That's all I've asked for. Just give me the strength. So I'm asking for the strength, but I'm not asking for any kind of healing. Just give me the strength. So the other night, it's been about 3 days ago, when I was outside looking up at the sky. It was daytime, and I put my arms up and I said, Lord Jesus, you know that I believe, and I believe in the healing of the universe. And I've not asked this before, but I'm asking for y'all to help me out here. Got my hands up like this, and I can feel energy coming into my palms, because I rub my palms before I do certain things. And you can create a sort of a plasma if you uh, do this with your palms, your hands. So I'm doing my hands, I put them up and I say to the universe, help me with this pain. However you help me, I don't know, but I need help with this pain. I know you still got a mission for me, and I can't do it if I'm in constant pain. So, to the universe, please help me with my pain. And I left it at that. Now, these last 2 days, my pain level has been about 5. It hasn't been 7. I have a bag of that. Try and get some what? Diatomaceous earth. Katniss, where do you live? What you need is to find yourself a place to go dig your own clay. There are clay pits all around. You need to look around your area for clay. Forget this buying it from other people. Seriously. Go find you a clay pit. You can get a map and look for mining symbols and check out. But around here, there's a lot of clay, but there's white clay, there's, the mixed clay, and then there's the red clay. The white clay is what you want. And so look for white clay, find out where it is and go dig your own. Seriously. Because if it's done by somebody else, it's been dug up by a huge machine and processed and tumbled and squashed until it gets to where it can be in a bag. Your garden is very clay? What color? I don't have an example of the white clay. I could show you, I could go get some, but not tonight. Copper? So copper. Hang on a second. I was trying to get to my bracelet. You mean copper like this? Where's the good angle? It's that color? Huh. Well, then I would say it's looking at this in the light, I would say it's sort of a reddish color then. You should look around in your neighborhood or whatever for white clay, if you can. Now, here's something. One of the ways to get clean water is to get a good clay pot that's not a junky pot, but a good clay pot. And put water in it. And you plug the hole in the bottom. And what you do is you allow the water to just drip through the clay. And so that the water that drips through the clay container will be clean. So you don't have to do anything else to it. You just stick a cup up underneath it as it drips and get your glass of water. So, but they get a clay vessel. Usually you can get it at a pottery store and get one big enough to, put some water in it, plug the bottom and then fill it full of water. And gravity and nature, the water will want to seep through the clay And as it does so, the clay will absorb whatever's in it, in the water. It doesn't matter how dirty the water is. The water coming out the bottom will be good water. So you just need to figure out how you're going to collect it. So a good way to do it would be to just hang the pot somewhere and then put a container underneath it as it drips. That would be a simple way, you know. So, but if you do that, the water that you get will have compound components of the clay. So you'll be getting clay in your water. Now my well is dug through clay. So as I pour it out, there's so much clay in the damn water, it's hard to drink. And because it'll clog up a filter in minutes. So as I get older, I have to, my attempt to dig a well in the backyard is going to become more important now. But now that I got the stent in my heart and that I asked the Creator, help me with this pain. I know how to walk. I know how to do a lot of things, but it's very difficult when I'm in so much pain. So help me do something about the pain, y'all. Please. Because if you got a mission for me, then I want to do it, right? I honestly want to do this. But how? So here's the proposition that they sort of gave me. Okay, listen to this one. It says there's only 3 of you out there. There's 901 subscribers. I was going to do a 900. We beat 900 video, and this is sort of it, but not. But years ago, when Brian was around, we were talking about how many people we wished we could have on our channel. And I was like, man, if I could get 100, I'd be happy. And then somebody asked me later on, well, you got 100. Now what? And I said, man, I don't know. Maybe 250. You know, I'm thinking ahead, but 250 people, that's a lot of people. You know, I have performed in front of 250 people. I have performed in front of 900 people, actually, uh, at the opening of the musical we did. There was 1,100 people there in the auditorium. So, and that was a big audience. So, but there's, I don't look at my stats much. Once in a while, I'll look and go, that's interesting. But since I'm not trying to sell anything or make any money, I want to have chats with people and try to bring them information. And what does all of this mean? Well, I had to have faith to get here. You know, I had to have faith to get to 63. You know, so I'm having faith that the universe is going to help me with the pain. So the last 2 days, I've been able to walk in the yard. And my pain level has been at about a 5 rather than a 6 or a 7. Now I have been able to walk further, and I still will get a 7 that'll stop me dead in my tracks. But I've made my own rule, I guess, that despite the 7 and 8 stabs of pain, it's not going to stop me. It might slow me down. I'm going to have to stop, literally, and try to stand up straight or move or something to get that 7 or 8 out of my back so I can move again. But I put a chair out there near the canoe, near the boat and everything. So if I have a sharp pain, I open the chair and sit down. I can relax out there, still in the yard, rather than trying to hobble back to the house, where the house has become my sanctuary, but it has also become my nemesis. So I'm slowly cleaning up the house around here, which should have been done in a day. But by being outside, I feel close. I got shoes off all the time. I got concrete floors. I'm like this close to the earth, and the concrete that's in here, I threw dirt in with the concrete to have Mother Earth in the concrete physically, because the concrete came from someplace else. But anyway, crazy that way. So I'm walking on the ground all the time with bare feet. So I feel like I'm in contact, but by being in the house, I haven't been outside. I haven't. I'm with Mother Nature. There's all kinds of shit in here, plants and stuff over there, and I'm always going outside with the dog, but that's not being outside. So I have made up my mind after the heart transplant thing that well, they transplanted a stent into my heart. The pain will get better when those muscles get rebuilt. I've been rebuilding them sitting here in this chair. I do sit-ups, you know, and I twist. I know how to exercise, and I have been doing that. But it is not the same thing as being outside and walking, because it all the muscles, I have lost my ability to stand up straight. So that's in my mind. I need to get that back to be able to put everything together and get my spine together when I'm walking. And at certain times when I straighten up all the way, yeah, I get hit with a sharp pain that literally makes my gut hurt. It feels like I want to throw up. That's how bad it hurts that fast. So you got to stop and see. That has been pushing me back to the house. Well, I can only get this far. Screw it. I'm going back in. This hurts too bad. I'm over that. I'm over that. So now it's that it hurts so bad. Don't care. Where's my chair? I'm going to sit it out right out here in the yard. I'm not going to go back in the house. And when it gets real bad and I've been out here for a while, then I'll go back in. So my breathing and my heartbeats and pain level, those are all combined as to whether or not I come back in the house, right? So, but what's this got to do with faith and belief? Well, I had to have faith in myself that I actually wanted to do this. I can relinquish myself to. I like the electric scooter now. Don't get me wrong, but I do not want to rely upon it all the time. But I like that electric scooter now. God bless you, Danny, for leaving it behind. But I like that little scooter now. But at the same time, I want to be able to walk. Now, I got one leg that's this much shorter than the other leg, and so I walk sideways, and so that doesn't help my back issue. You know what I mean? But I've had it since I was 14 when my leg got broken. So all of these things, I had to have faith that I could get healed back then in high school. I had to have faith when they worked on my neck that that would heal and take the help me with my nerve endings in my hands. It took 3 operations, and even the last one didn't really work that well. But I'm 73 and still here, and I can turn my head this far on either side with 3 vertebrae fused together in my neck. Where most people they can only turn their head like this. I can literally turn my neck, and I've got 3 fused vertebrae. That's where faith comes in. When they were working on my neck, I had faith that that was going to grow and it was going to be healed and I was going to be okay. And, and it was the doctor put in this little piece of damn bone in my neck thinking that was going to heal me, and should have known better, dumbass. Should have took a little bit bigger piece of bone and stuck it in there. But I got all over him for that, because I got to look at the x-rays and I was like, what the fuck were you doing? You took a big chunk out of my hip. Why didn't you take a little bit bigger piece and shove it in there? Anyway, now they do it differently. So that was back in the 80s. So I believed that I could make it and I had faith. So there are many times I lost my faith that I was never going to be able to walk again or use my hands. And here I'm 70, I'm 73, and I can still use my hands. I don't have arthritis. You know, I quit drinking out of plastic bottles a long time ago. And that's what, as soon as I quit drinking out of plastic bottles, my arthritis went away. So I have faith that if I do these things, like quit drinking out of plastic bottles all the time, that, that eventually the little particles would come out of my body. I'm very cautious now about how much plastic I inhale, you know. So and there are particles in this and it takes a while for them to come out, but I don't have arthritis. Who is that? The Rumsk. Did I see that right? The print is so small on the cell phone. I still got to figure out how to go around what um, YouTube has done to the computer. Um, but I've had faith. It is the Rumps. Hey, how you doing? So blessings to you, and hope you and yours are doing well under all the circumstances that are going on. So in all this chaos, there are folks that well, they're afraid of the future. They're not sure what's going to happen. The folks who are all over Trump and that he's the worst in the world and, he's a dictator and all these things and blah, blah, blah. He said, okay, stop the shenanigans. And it's like the Democrats, they got to stop their shenanigans. It ain't us. It ain't the Republicans. And no matter what they try to do, the Democrats are a bunch of assholes for holding this up. And it's a shame and it's stupid. And it is politics. And no, we do not want to include the stuff that the Democrats want. That's way too much money. And I want my Social Security check. I want my Medicaid, you know? What's the future look like? Yeah, in your world, what does it look like? So for the future, the cards that I pulled out tonight, I got the message that there are things I say in the spirit world, okay? There are ideas or there are plans or there are things out in the universe that are going on. Okay, this is a bad example. They're building a car plant near you, within driving distance. And it's going to employ 1,000 people. And you're in that age bracket and know enough stuff that you're probably going to get on. First of all, I need milk for my coffee. I'm almost out of milk, but it was enough for this cup of coffee. So salute to you, Daromsk. What time is it? Okay. Oops. I don't want. I got this little stand that the phone is on, and I'm sliding it around. So the future of things. Well, to a lot of folks, they look out yonder at what's going on in the world, and all they can see is chaos. So if that's all you can see is chaos, then you need to stop and let all the spinning world slow down. And you need to take a little slower look at certain things and this over there. And one of the things, excuse me, one of the things that you need to do when you slow down is you find those things that aren't necessary. Oh, I'm worried about, you know, if I put out enough deer corn in the woods last week versus, you know, did your check come in from where you worked and do you have enough to feed your chillins? You're worried about whether or not there's deer feed in the woods. Now, that's important for folks who hunt, but boy, this is odd. I'm having a moment. My chest started hurting all of a sudden, just boom. There are times when I wonder if I'm not being targeted because I'll be a-okay, and then all of a sudden I feel like I've been hit with something. You know, that there's somebody around here that just literally, you know, hit me with a 2x4 in the chest. It hurts. Let's see if this will help any. And can you believe CNN even put out a thing about these things, you know, are going to be the nemesis for our atmosphere? Are you freaking kidding me? That was so dumb because you put it into your mouth. Your forest floor just got cleaned up. All right, I got to take my meds. It won't hurt you none. That's 2. Here's 3. I got a bunch of them. This one is isosorbide. I love saying that name. Hydralazine. Now, one of the things for me, everybody was like, you need to get those strips and put your meds in the little boxes. And when it comes time, you can just dump them out. Nah, I hate those things. There are people who can use them, and I ain't one of them. I was worried that a fire would start. Yeah, too much underbrush. And you might want, did you burn off what was left? I don't have the energy to burn my place, and it needs it. There are too many pine needles on the ground. Oh, I still got pills to take. I ain't done yet. Y'all may be watching me have a heart attack. Wouldn't that be fun? Live and in color. I was looking, they have these new machines now that'll go over you. And they position it over your chest, and there's a hand that comes down that pumps instead of somebody having to do it. They get there and put this contraption, and then it's just a little hand that comes down and pushes on your chest to keep the rhythm going. Amazing. Battery operated, you know. Whoever came up with that one was a good idea. Help, I might need one of those. Now, there's a part of me that says I was bragging. So because I was bragging that I was feeling too good, they had to slap me in the chest to make me sit back and take notice. Like, listen here. Doesn't feel like my heart hurts, but my chest does. Take this handful too. So I got 2 doctor's appointments tomorrow. One with my primary and one with my heart doctor. So, we'll check up with that. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. So it's like in the chaos of things, you have to let the chaos kind of just work itself out. Stay out of it as much as you can. If you've got a job that, like I was in the car industry, even though, we were tier 1 providers for the car industry, we were still in the car industry. You know what I mean? Whatever happened to the car industry affected us. And whatever we did affected the car industry. So sometimes you're a participant 1 or 2 steps back, The people that supplied us wire for the product that we made, they were 1 step further out. They were tier 2. So, but if tier 2 couldn't supply to tier 1, then that hurt the automotive companies. All of them. Because we made parts for Ford, Chrysler, and Nissan and Honda, but not Chevrolets. So, do you believe that what you're doing is worthwhile? Now, I dug ditches when I couldn't find another job. And some people said, well, why'd you dig ditches? There was no other work. I tried. So, but you got to do what you got to do. So, are you willing to do what you got to do? If it's going out and digging ditches and digging slop and digging in sewers and smelly ass doo doo, and if that's what you got to do to provide for yourself and your children's and whatever, then you got to do it. Because at some point, especially if you're looking, especially if the creator's got something else for you, you won't be doing that for long. Something else will come along. And over my years, something always did come along. Sometimes you didn't move up in pay. It was a lateral position. You got the same pay, but you weren't shoveling poo. So, but in all of life, you got to have faith in something. So is it that you have faith in a God? So my Catholic friends who are so Catholic that they can't understand not being Catholic at all. It's such a part of their life. And that's okie dokie. But my question to them is, are you any closer to God? Are you any closer to the Creator? Because to me, the church was in the way. You had to do all these church things before you could get to God. You had to join all these different factions, and you had to follow all these rules before you got the chance to get close to God. Well, if you want to receive the Eucharist, you must be pure of heart and pure of soul, and then you can receive what is supposed to be the body of Jesus Christ. Now open up and have a bite of Jesus. We gonna have a little bite of Jesus. Gonna go on up to the altar. Gonna have another bite of Jesus. Because that's what they tell the fathers. Gonna have a little bite of Jesus. And they have these little wafers. They have to be made of unleavened bread, all this other kind of stuff. Okay, dokie. And we used to munch on them in the back. You know, they came in great big bags of, in great big plastic bags. But anyway, they have turned this wafer of bread into the body of Christ. And then they hand out bits of Christ, put them on your tongue or give them to you and you eat them. And now you can chew on some Jesus yourself. Now, when I got out of the church, I was like, that just don't sound right. That just don't sound right. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have a little piece of Jesus. Gonna go on up to the altar. Gonna eat me a piece of Jesus, just like they taught my father. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. And I woke up and I said, that's cannibalism. Why would you want to eat Christ? Now, I could see where they could say, we're dedicating this bread and this wine at the last meal. And right now, Jesus is present with us in this Mass. And let's all partake of the bread that they broke the bread and shared it with each other at the last meal. So here's a piece of bread. Right. That I have often wondered, and I've had conversations, with Sister Helene back in 1970 and 71 and early 72. And that, that just don't make sense. There's a little twist in there, Let's all break bread and share. I got that part. But break bread that's now a part of Jesus because we just performed a magic spell in church. What do you call that? Turning a piece of bread, the Eucharist, piece of unleavened bread 1 minute, and you holly holly boo boo over the chalice, and poof, it's the body of Christ. And then you hand it out to the people to eat. I used to help hand it out. And every time as an altar boy, I was like, ain't there just something weird about this, And the priest is so all in a if he's a good priest, he's in not necessarily in a daze, but he's in a holy spot as he grabs the Eucharist and gives it. Back in the day, he would place it on your tongue. Now they hand it to you and you eat it. Okay. Or sometimes there's still the people that put out their tongue. But so those people who believe that, they have to have faith. There is something to where I'm going with this, because for them, it is the Catholic way that they believe in. And that is their faith in God. But it's more the faith in the religion than it is God. It honestly is, So, and you have to get out of the cult thinking. And it absolutely is a cult thinking, because it's like, no, we have to go to church and go to confession. And then we have to eat some Jesus bread, and it's like, okay, then they still do this, but now they dance and do other stuff in there. We just played guitar music that was easy to sing back in the day. We're coming around for another one. I kind of I took one or two last time, but I want another. But anyway, so where's our faith lie? Does our faith lie in the church that we belong to? Or does our faith belong in our heart and what our heart tells us and shows us? The cards that I did tonight with Robert, that's kind of where it was, use your heart to find out, what you want to do or where you're going or what the universe has got in store for you. So how about this one? Who's still in the chat? It says 2 people. Who's in there so I can talk to you directly? I want to toss something at you. It's been 57 minutes. You notice how the sacrificed blood flows through the ages? Yes, that too. Eat my body, drink my blood, and we'll sing a song of love. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Oh my God. Eat his body, drink his blood. First sentence, the first words out of the mouth. Well, okay, Barry, listen to this one. I had a dream the other night, and it was about drumming. And so I have not drummed because it's very hard for me to stand. And I have been remiss in that, well, maybe you could sit on a chair, dumbass. But I'm so used to dancing when I drum, that it's like, well, so now I got to rethink, the idea of drumming. But so the drumming was that for the people, the 901 people here on this channel, that there are people in Texas, for example. You're up in Missouri. Michelle is up in Indiana somewhere. There are people stuck everywhere. And what I was thinking of is, if I came out to see you, put out the word that, one night I would do a drum and a fire, however we could do it, and invite whoever's in the neighborhood who would want to come. So, but then, head out to Texas maybe on the way home, or swing by, or maybe I swing by them before I come to you or something. So I was thinking of taking the drum on the road to just going and some near somebody's house, or in their backyard, and invite other people if they could get to it, to come and meet, and and do a drum. So, but somehow take the drum on the road. And I'm not sure how that goes, you know. But it's like, really? You guys want me to take the drum on the road? You know, take a coffee pot so we can have coffee when I get there, make coffee when I get there. But so offered, I want to travel around. I want to go to certain places, and so if I want to go to certain places, then take the drum, which I probably would anyway. But take the drum and tell folks, hey, look, I'm going to be camped at this spot here, and it's near your house. Come out, and we'll do a drum, or I'll come to your house, or do it, whatever might be more convenient. But I got to get more strength. That's without a doubt. But winter is coming on, and there are not very many powwows. And there seems for me that, and one of the messages that I got was years ago, there were messages sent out, and I was at a powwow, and there were some of the elders that were telling people, if you go home, do not drum. Do not drum on your own. As bad as you might want to drum and dance and whatever, we're dancing here at this powwow. Get your dancing and your drumming out now. You can drum along with us, but don't drum when you get home. Put a moratorium on drumming at home. And there were other certain ceremonies that some people were said, don't do this during this time. And that a lot of elders, a bunch of different tribes now, were saying that the energy of the universe was so bad that any kind of drum or anything would put negative energies into the drums. That would be difficult at best to get the evil out of the drum. So they told people, and it was like for about a year and a half, it was just like a moratorium. You be careful with dancing and where the moon is. And they were big time scared and telling people, please don't do this. Listen to us elders. And it was like, okay. So with that said, those people around those chiefs, and to the medicine men, and to the elders who spoke these things, who knew how desperate the times were, you should see them now compared to then. But there was some bad energies going around. But to our point, when they said you can't drum, you got to stay away from certain ceremonies, and the rest of us were like, who are they to tell us what to do? And then another elder would come up from a different tribe, and they'd go, this is really a bad time. In the universe, it's a bad time. The energies are wrong. You can't drum because you might end up with those bad energies in your drum. Please be careful. And when you dance, if you have to dance, please don't do anything ceremonies, because there are other people who are doing bad sacrifices. And if we dance and drum while they're doing the bad stuff, we could actually be helping them with their sacrifices without even knowing what's going on. Because we drum and because we open portals of such, with the feelings and the energies and so forth. And they're looking for ways to get at those energies and control them. And so we're sitting here drumming, having a good old time when there are evil people in places that are really putting it to it, and they're using our drummings to help them get their wish. No. So believe it or not, do you have faith? I did. And during that time, it was hard not to drum and to do, you could do small ceremonies. It was just stay away from big stuff where you were going to draw a crowd and bring in a lot of energy and open up a lot of, good stuff. Nah, stay away from that. And for about a year or so. And you could see the evil in around. You could feel it. So for me, it was like a no-brainer. But other people were like, well, I'll do what I damn well please. Well, but look around you, feel the energy, and think about it. And for me, it didn't take long. I was like, the elders are right. So now it feels like for me, it's time to, and I can feel it outside. The one of the things that they say for, uh, well, at least the folks, the shamans that I've known, were like, when you can hear the drum and feel the drum, like I'm sitting here right now, and I can hear a drum and I can feel a drum somewhere. And so it's like there's all the saying was that there's always someone somewhere drumming. Somewhere on the planet. Could be in Thailand, it could be in India, it could be in Africa, it could be here in America, it could be in Canada or the South Pole. Somebody somewhere is got a drum and they're drumming. And so that was one of the things that the elders were saying. Even long distance people were traveling from Argentina, South America, Venezuela, and along in there, Brazil, and Inca and Mayan folks coming up for powwows up here, and they were telling them, all of the elders down in South America are saying, you got to keep it, you got to chill for a little bit. These folks down here in South America are doing some nasty shit. There's some evil going on, and we got to be careful. And we want to tell you all up here, be careful because this evil is just not down there. It's carrying all over the place. And we don't want to contribute to it. So, do you have faith? Do you believe? Do you believe what the elders say? Well, wait a minute. They're not a church. I know. But they're elders of their faith. They're elders of people of the earth. Native Americans. Okay. They're people of the earth. I'm sorry, but the folks that live in high-rise apartments are not people necessarily of the earth. They might claim to be, but no, you got to walk around barefoot a lot. Not in your apartment on the carpet, No, you got to be, you got to, you got to do it. You got to be a part of it. So the people of the earth know what's going on and they can feel it. Use your heart to digest what's going on. So do you believe this crazy fool over here? Or do you want to just believe in your heart what you know? And that you have faith in what you know? And that you believe? You believe in the universe. You believe in the great creator of all things. And you should believe that there is a divine plan for all of us. That's just like Swan. she was an ugly duckling, and she met with Dragonfly, and Dragonfly said, you know, you can enter into this place with the Creator, but one of the rules is you have to accept what the Creator has for you. You have to accept it, not argue. So Ugly Duckling went in to the dream time, and a couple of days later came out a beautiful swan. What happened? Asked the Dragonfly. And Swan said it was beautiful. All I had to do was accept what the great Creator had for me, and to have faith and believe. And Dragonfly was like, well done. Well done, Swan. And Swan said, and through that, I have accepted the grace from the great Creator. You accepted the grace from the Creator. Wowzers. So that's heavy stuff for the swan. But here's the thing, each one of us are ugly ducklings in a way until we learn how to go into the dream time. Now, there are a lot of people who astral project, and they think they're in the dream time, and some of them are. But in the dream time, do you accept what the Creator has for you? Or are you going into the dream time with expectations? I want this from the dream time. I, for whatever, I want a new car in the dream time. I want to be able to drive around in a Cadillac in the dream time, or whatever. I want to be a rich person in the dream time. I want to feel what it's like to be rich. And I don't care. So what should we do? Look in the chaos and watch it go by. Do what you have to do. And thank the universe that you got a job. Thank the universe that there might be something better coming along. Thank the universe, for the grace that you receive from the Creator. And we say, well, Dave, Hawkeye, how do you do that? You have to believe. You have to have faith in yourself. Put that faith right here. Take that chunk that's in there and believe. Have faith that there is a Creator. It's not some God somewhere, but there's a great Creator of all things. It is what it is. And so when you just believe that, it has nothing to do with a church or a priest or a pastor. It's in you at all times. Jesus said that. I am with you at all. I'm with you always. Well, how do you do that? Well, because of the universe, the quantum field, the quantum effect. We're all part of the quantum, the quantum field of the universe. And so, oh my goodness, what? So we're all connected to each other because of the quantum field, right? So if we start thinking more positive thoughts about each other and quit tearing each other down, and laugh more, take a joke and giggle, you know, and that's how we express ourselves. That's how we raise our spirits and our frequencies to the next level, because there is a fourth dimension coming, and the third dimension people ain't ready, because fourth dimension is learning how to communicate psychically. And so it's coming. The energies are here. There's all kinds of stuff shifting in the universe. And, believe it in the comments or not, I don't care. But it's just odd that there's all this stuff going on right now. So we need to remember that strange energies coming off of the sun. and from out in space somewhere. From Sagittarius, we get energy. There's energy coming from Orion somehow. And it's like, okay, so wing, yeah, we do need to holler wing. That's right. Um, I need to have a night of ghost stories because I've collected a bunch of them, and I know some of them by heart. So it'll just be not reading of ghost stories, but me telling of ghost stories. So, but anyway, so to try to round this up, uh, oh, did a 20 just go by and I missed it? Got to catch up. Now, there are those people who are agnostics, who don't want to believe in any kind of higher power. Okay. So have faith in yourself. Have faith in yourself that you're going to be a better person, that you're going to take opportunities when they come and work hard to achieve them, um, that you're going to help others along the way because that will help you. And so, and you take these energies and push them forward. Hey, let's drum in the ghost story night. Yes, yes. And I've got some sound effects too in different places, like little whistles and things and stuff. And so, yeah. But so it's up to us to have the faith. No one can push it upon us. Now, those folks who have become monks and wear the hoods and bow and pray all the time, so they're making themselves do that, to be that person, to be that prayer wheel. There are old women sitting in places that are doing prayers on beads like a rosary. There are many people doing the rosary. There are folks who have said that to do the rosary at least once a day for Mother Mary. And I sort of got that message years ago, to do the rosary once a day. And so I was just sending prayers in my head without carrying a rosary around. So you can do the rosary in your head if you know the prayers. So, um, and of course, it's the not necessarily the prayers that you do, but it's the energy that you put out with the prayers that you do. So if you're just going, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee, blessed art thou amongst women, blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now at the hour of our death. And Holy Mary, Mother, that ain't doing it. You have to say the prayer with the bead. And you have to say the prayer, and you got to mean it. You know, Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen. And then you go on to the next one. So you say the prayer, under your breath or, out loud or in your head, but you say it. And so, but well, Dave, what does that mean? Because you're putting emphasis into the prayer beads. That's one thing. But that you're not just saying the prayer just because somebody said, "Well, we got to do a rosary today," and you say, oh, "Okay," and you skip through all the prayers and you just to say it. Where there's a person with the rosary who's saying the rosary, and each of those prayers means something, and they put out the energy. They're asking Mother Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. They're meaning it. And so the energy output is very important, right? So, how much faith do we have? Well, you see, how much energy do we believe in something that we would put forth from our heart out to the universe? Wait a minute, what are you talking? I mean, the energy. You know, um, I'm a warrior for Christ, and I put that out to the universe, and I mean it when I say it. So, do you mean it? Well, that's my faith. Yes, I said it years ago, and I still mean it. I'm getting old and crankier and a little slower, but I do still mean it. So you're a warrior for Christ, eh, Dave? Yeah. Well, what's that got to do with the powwow? Well, powwow gives me the opportunity to send my prayers with the beating and the dancing and the fire, and send my prayers along with all the other people who might be dancing or singing or drumming. And all of our prayers are going up with the smoke towards the heavens. I believe that more than I do of a priest who changes a piece of bread into the body of Christ and says, "Here, eat some." Which one would you prefer? Just standing back and looking at the stuff. So as a Catholic, I looked at it and said, I like the dancing and the drum with my prayers going up on the smoke. I really like that idea. This idea of turning the bread into the body of Christ and eating it does not appeal to me. I still believe in Jesus. I still believe in the Christ. But I don't believe in all that hocus pocus stuff with the Catholic Church. So I deal directly. I cut out the middleman. So I deal directly with the Spirit because I believe it's around us all the time. We're in constant contact with the Spirit. There's no difference. Just because I go to sleep or I'm driving into town to the hospital or something, I know that I'm in the quantum field. And the quantum field, believe it or not, is the Christ field. It's the energy of the gods. It's within us all, and we're swimming around in this goo, right? So as long as we're in this cosmic goo, um, do you have faith in it? Do you have faith that you can stand strong in this cosmic goo? Do you have faith that with all the chaos that's going on out yonder, that you can have faith within yourself to know that you're going to survive this? You can pick out the bad spots and stay out of the storms and hunker down when you need to. Our way isn't the Roman way. Yeah. So there will be no crucifixions. Nope. So have a 20 for me. And, I'm here just to try to get people to think about stuff, right? Like, the cards that I did tonight on Robert's channel, it was like, we gotta look inside ourselves every other day or every other week or once a month or something, because we get so involved in our daily chores and things. Sometimes we forget some of our spiritual chores or some of the things that we did a couple of months ago and we kind of backslid and and haven't done it. Like me, I've backslid on a couple of things and it's like gotta get back to them. Now it's my fault, that well, that was weird. The thing just disappeared and came back. That's weird. Only the clock was showing. That's weird. So, um, so what do we do? You got to check inside yourself. Just to go like, we still good? We still believe in this? Yeah. When was the last time we burned some sage? Well, it's been about 2 weeks. And we need to light some sage. Need to, just walk around the house. Need to do yourself. Ain't gonna hurt nothing, smudgy, smudgy, smudge, because some bad energy might have followed you home. So you burn a little sage and and tell anything that's in the neighborhood to go away, leave you alone. And you continue on your way. Um, but sometimes we get so involved in our daily chores, we forget sometimes to do simple things like that once in a while. And then there are the times when there are people who are obsessed with lighting sage everywhere and doing it every time and just being, you can do it without being excessive. Or if you want to be excessive, go for it. But I have known some folks, I'm like, chill, calm down. There's nothing in your house. Oh, I know there are bad energies here. And I'm like, really? I need more smudge. I need more. All right. I think some people in that paranoia call things to them. Got to be careful, because for every time you do a ceremony, a real showing up ceremony, um, like a full moon ceremony or something, but you could be at home doing your own private one, right? But if there's some wandering spirits hanging around, that ain't got nothing to do with you or whatever, there go the numbers again. It disappeared off the screen. There they pop back on. That's weird. It says 4 people and 4 thumbs up, and then it disappears and then it comes back. That's strange. Tell me somebody ain't messing with this. Why don't you all like me? I ain't doing nothing. I'm just trying to find people who will have faith. If you're a Catholic and that's what you believe, then believe it, damn it. But don't believe in the church. Believe in Jesus and believe in Mary and believe in the Creator. Not just the God, the Creator. The Creator who made God, okay? There's a higher power there. So people freak out about that one, right? But, the quantum energy, all of the little particles, all the little nano beads that are all around us all the time. We're getting hit by all these cosmic rays and things that they're detecting, with stuff way deep in the ground, that pass through us daily. That all that stuff is true. We do have stuff hitting us and going through us, and it does affect us. It does affect our breathing and our heartbeats because I'm having an issue right now. It just disappeared and came back. Says there are 5 of you here. Well, God bless all of you, and hoping that the Creator will look out after you. But you gotta say thank you. People say, "Oh my God, I got to do. Oh my God, I've got to do something. I have to, I got to go to church." Why don't you just stand still, shut up, and quit worrying about what dress and how much makeup you're going to put on to go to church? What? Why don't you just stand still and look up at the sky and honestly say thank you to the Creator? Put your hands up and say thank you, thank you, thank you. If you believe in Jesus, He heard you. If you believe in somebody else, they heard you. Because going to a place doesn't make that prayer any better. Because if you're honest intent at the moment you stop and pray, that's what it means. And if you got some pipe to smoke and some tobacco, and you smoke it correctly, then those prayers go up with the smoke. A lot of old traditions in doing it with the smoke. I mean, even the Catholics use incense in places, so they use smoke too. So it's important in all the religions. Well, maybe not the Baptist. This new pipe smokes nice. Have to be careful of taking too big a hit. That's pretty smooth. Okay, so human nature says we're going to mess this up, because it's human nature. People are going, oh, I feel fine. And I remember this today. And then 2 weeks later, they've gotten involved in something and they have forgotten what they learned 2 weeks ago. And it's like, so you got to retrain your thoughts. If you got to write notes on a pad, and I got a bunch of stuff in the back of this thing right there, and I got a bunch of sayings and notes and stuff that I got on sheets over here. So what's the topic? Well, let's look down here, and I've had a topic about this and this and this. We've talked about this and this and this, and sometimes Spirit will go, "Hey, you need to revisit this one right here." Okay. So new information, and remind people that we are all connected. Dang it! Quit thinking about this other stuff. Quit worrying about all this other stuff. Do you believe that we're all connected because of the energy of the universe, the quantum field? If you're a scientist, do you believe in the quantum field? Well, yeah, the quantum field, then you should believe. If you believe in the quantum field and all around us, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, then you believe in the bigger deal. It just hasn't dawned on you yet. And I've listened to, theoretical physicists talk about some of this stuff, and I'm going along with it, and I'd like to get in on the conversation and go, but what about this? Y'all don't ever talk about this, what about that? And did you ever think that maybe something like this over here is influencing that over there because of the remote remote observational effect, the observer effect? If you watch an experiment, you can have an effect on the experiment. So, but what if somebody's doing an experiment? You're not there. You're not having anything to do with that experiment directly. But somewhere in the world, that somebody is doing this experiment because it's online and there are grad students doing it. Somebody in the universe is doing this thing. And so, because you might want to do it, you think about it and you think about the steps. And somebody on the other side of the planet, or maybe next door, is actually doing or thinking so you're affecting it through the quantum field immediately because there's no drag, right? It's there, boom, it's there. So then you've had an immediate remote observer effect on an experiment. Okay, that sounds stupid. If I knew somebody was working on their car and they had to change their transmission, and I was thinking, God, they're probably pulling that transmission right about now. Hope they're doing okay. And I can kind of see in my head them pulling the transmission because I pulled transmissions and what they're doing underneath and how it's working out and I'm like, so I can almost remote view what they're doing because I've been in the shop before. I know the person that's on the roller doing the thing. I'm not sure who the person helping is, but there's somebody on the other side that's helping. And it almost feels like I'm there helping them unbolt the thing and bring it down. So I'm helping by a remote observer effect. That's stupid. No, it ain't. If you can remote view something, if I think about my buddy who's doing something, working on his car, and I close my eyes and I can kind of sort of see the setup, then I'm kind of sort of there helping him in the quantum field of things. So, do I believe that I can affect other people's thoughts? Well, yeah, I just want y'all to think about it. And yet, that it, the quantum field does exist. The science is out there, and normal people don't understand it. And I've been talking about the cosmic goo for years. 30 years I've been talking about cosmic goo, and that we're all part of it. And it's all coming true. In that fact, I just called it cosmic goo instead of the quantum. But because we're all a part of it, then we can all smile and somehow bring some cheer to somebody else. Say, well, we should try to help somebody every day. That's true. But sometimes little old ladies ain't crossing the street that need help. And sometimes, there's not somebody that's standing in the rain that needs an umbrella. There's not always someone in distress that you can help. But there are people, I'm sure, that you pass in the street, in the store, whatever you're doing, even out your car window getting something from the place, you can give a smile. You can at least do that. And that effect of a smile to that other person with the right intent goes into the quantum field and helps to establish a positive energy. So, yes, every single one of us has a job to do. And that's to make sure that we smile and keep that positive attitude at people. It's a simple thing to do, to smile at someone. You can also add a have a nice day or hope, whatever positive other thing you might want to, voice your opinion on. But any of that is positive energy that you put into the quantum field. So you're not just saying it to the person, which you are, but if with the right intent, it's to the person and to the universe. And so it goes to her, and then thing, it's already in the universe instantly. Oh my God, there's another smile in the universe. There's somebody out in California that smiled about something. I'll be damned. They were watching Gutfeld. Oh my God. Oh, there's somebody in San Francisco that's, smoking a bowl. Oh my God. Is it a 20 yet? So we can change the world. We are changing the world. Our thoughts change the world. If we go into the dream time and accept what the Creator has for us, we can come out looking like a swan. It's up to us. It's up to you, not putting any pressure on you. It's because it's just there. You have to accept it. As I always say, accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings from the universe, because there are a lot out there. Like I said earlier, now an hour ago, when I put my hands to the sky and I said, please, I've never asked for help about this. I have many years of pain with my back surgery. I have never asked for any type of healing. The only thing I ever asked for was strength. Lord, give me the strength to overcome this. Lord, give me the strength to battle this pain. Lord, and now I'm saying, Lord, I need help with the pain I've been trying on my own, but now I'm asking directly. I need help with my pain. There are things I want to do. There are things I believe the Creator has they want me to do. And I need to go do them. Plain and simple, you know. And so, but with my hands raised and asking the universe, please help me with my pain. So that was 3 or 4 days ago. And the last 2 days, I've been able to walk around better than I have in a long time. I'm in pain, but it ain't a 7, it's a 5. Now I get hit with a 7 every once in a while, but my average pain level is a 5. And for me, that's great because usually the best I can get is a 6, 6.5 to a 7. So a 5 in pain level, we can deal with that, you know. That's a really sore muscle time, but I can walk it out. So gotta have faith. You gotta believe. Believe, believe. As we all have said over the years, not just me, but with those folks with the Charistus group and with Dante and the other folks, what is it? Is to believe. And what is it? Is to have faith. To say the truth and seek the truth and speak the truth and believe. Have faith in that hopefully what you believe is the truth. Now, there are folks that feel that, the somebody said something, one of the Democrats made a comment, I can't believe it, that, they should just go kill all the Republican children and then they won't grow up to be fascists and Hitlers. What? Yeah, let's all go kill the Republican children and then they won't grow up to be fascists. That's crazy talk. So it's things like that is like, no, that's bad energy going into the quantum. That's evil going into the quantum field. And we need to make sure that we don't encourage that in any way. So I continue to pray that each and every day, that each and every one of you will continue to learn how to accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the wisdom, and the many blessings from the universe. Stay safe, my friends. Stay thirsty, my friends. Stay thirsty, my friends. And so, with that, I love you all. Please be safe. I hope that somewhere in this in this podcast there was something that would help you to understand something in this chaotic world. So more to come, and keep smiling, y'all. Even in the worst of times, we got to keep smiling. If when I was digging ditches and digging in shit, I just kept smiling. One of these days, it's gonna get better. And I just kept digging and shoveling that shit. And one of these days, it's gonna get better, and it did. So, but you got to believe and you got to have faith. So, don't give up, don't give in, and I will see you on the flip side. This is Hawkeye Two Feathers saying cheers to all of y'all and be thirsty, my friends.